is Notsam Wrestling.
Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
As part of the digital WinterCon 2021, Topps is unleashing WWE Slam Card Trader. And here to celebrate that release is none other than somebody that I'm sure you are used to celebrating quite a bit. Somebody who's been celebrated, and justifiably so, for the last couple of years of her career. And it's a mystery as to how we will celebrate this person going into WrestleMania this year. But I have no doubt that we will. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte Flair. How are you, Charlotte?
Good. Hey, Sam.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel like throughout like the times that we've spoken, more often than not, I come to you and I'm like, I just want to talk about you. We don't need to talk about the Flair family. We don't need to talk about your dad. And then your dad shows up again, and I have to ask, what's going on with Dad right now? I mean, it seems like every time we turn on the TV, it's like, what are we doing, Rick? What's going on?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
It's definitely not where I thought my 2021 was going to be. But I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about Monday's promo segment. And I love the fact that people are throwing around the word shoot, because that meant it touched home to some people. So yeah, where it goes, I don't know. Obviously there's going to be a different direction now.
Right. Yeah.
Because my stepmom can't wrestle me.
Yeah, that's what I was really, that's what I was saying. Like, Lacey is unfortunately going to have to go home and have Charlotte's stepchild or stepsister or brother, step sibling. And then you'll go on to face somebody else, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. I do love though, that's
I hope it's not her husband.
Yeah, right. I do love that's WWE. They're like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Like, okay, Lacey, life happens. Lacey is expecting. What are we going to do? Well, she's pregnant. Wow, this is perfect. Rick, this is just a reason for Rick to dance and celebrate. Like, yeah, we can do a lot with this, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it definitely, it took a different twist, and I'll be interested to see, where it goes after Monday.
Do you, at this point, do you sit there and go, this is where I'd like for it to go? This is what I'd like to do? Because clearly we're at WrestleMania time, right? So whatever happens next.
Well, I hope nowhere near my dad. Because, like, there's no... I mean, and I know he feels the same way. It's Mania season.
Right.
Like, I want to know, I hope I'm at WrestleMania.
Right. Do you have those moments where you go like, okay, like you think back to like WrestleMania like 32, right? And the entrance, and you come down, and it really is, or even like 2 years ago when you came down from the helicopter and it's all about Charlotte, and it's almost like, this is my moment. And then like 2 years later, they're like, all right, we're going to have Rick come back. And you're like, what? I thought we were past this.
Well, I definitely thought that him and Lacey worked well together.
Yeah.
Like I understood it. I got it. I think my biggest struggle was, well, I'm the daughter of the dirtiest player in the game. Like, why can I not be the dirtiest player in the game?
Right. Yeah.
Like, how or why would I fall for his antics if I've already been on camera with him and he was my manager? And that was tremendous. I grew as a performer. It took me to the next level. But like, I was having I did not why am I not the dirtiest player in the game? It was basically like me. I was like throwing a fit. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fall for these things. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you've
But I think whatever emotions that were coming through on screen, whether it be frustrated or angry or the promo on Monday, I think it definitely brought out a different side of me the last couple weeks.
yeah.
So I think that did exactly what it was supposed to.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I know, like, watching those segments, like, we all make jokes about it, of course, but, like, I know that watching those segments, like, I'll, like, hit my wife to get her to actually look at the TV, and I'll go, "Look at
Yeah.
Charlotte's face. Like, look at her face right now." And you're right, whether it's the anger or the frustration or even in that promo, like, it wasn't just about the promo, it was about, like, you can like, it bleeds out of your eyes, like, it's just like, this is as
I wear
real.
my heart on my sleeve. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
and it really
And
comes
I
off
feel
authentic.
like that's the one thing I've never been able to do with my character, because I feel like I like babyface promos, and that's the one thing I told myself I need to get better at promos. I want to get better, but I want to feel like sometimes I felt when I was trying to connect with the audience as a babyface, I'm like, man, they probably just think I'm whining because they don't understand where I'm coming from. They don't understand the pressure I put on myself. They don't understand what it's like to be Rick's kid. They don't just all it encompasses. And it's almost, I also want to say, like, no one puts more pressure on me than I do. I don't need anyone else to criticize me. I criticize myself enough. But it was like a perfect uh opportunity to go, okay, people can empathize with an argument with your parent saying, like, let me do this on my own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually felt like I was already past that, where people go, well, she's past, just being Rick's kid because of everything I accomplished. But apparently,
Yeah,
it was a different twist.
but it almost tells that story, like, even when you think you're past it because it's Rick, because he's the greatest of all time, like,
You'll
you're
never get past it.
exactly, exactly, and that I feel like
Like,
is
I
an
try to
even
explain this to my dad, even on live events, right? Like, just telling him how relevant he still is. This was like a year or two ago. Like, even before live events, they have this incredible package play of my dad before. And it, like, here we are in 2021, and that's still like the arena's wooing before the show.
right, right.
Like, and I never want it to go away, but I think it's very hard to articulate that amount of pressure to people in babyface promos.
Yeah, totally, totally. Well, speaking of pressure, you had a lot of pressure last year at this time, like, going into WrestleMania last year. I feel like there's
Yeah.
already, I'm sure, a ton of pressure on you. This was good pressure, I think, because it's like you're in this established position as Charlotte Flair, the best on the roster, and now you are in this star-making spot, not just for you, but for Rhea Ripley, the next person who's
Yeah.
coming up, and, like, a couple weeks before WrestleMania, you find out a week before WrestleMania, days before WrestleMania, you find out not only are you in this position to be like, nope, now you're here to make the next generation look as good as possible, but you're going to be doing it in an empty warehouse. There's going to be no crowd, and we've never really done this before, so let's just see what happens. Were you happy with the way the Rhea Ripley match at WrestleMania went last year? And, like, what was your mind frame going into
A
it?
couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I felt bad for her because I'm sure she didn't picture her first WrestleMania in front of an empty arena.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you
I
think of
would
WrestleMania, you think of 80,000 people.
yeah, yeah.
100, like, my first one was 102,000 at AT&T Stadium. No, but I said, listen, if you can really show people how talented you are, it's right now. And this could possibly be the most watched WrestleMania of all time due to what's happening. Just because they're not actively sitting in the seats does not mean they are not watching at home. And you really want to show people how good you are, show them right now. Make people forget that there's no people here. That's how I approach it. That's how I told her to approach it. But to me, there is so much unfinished with Rhea
Mhm.
that I don't even like. We had this fantastic match, People know what she's capable of. She took me to the limit. Unfinished business.
Yeah, I mean,
But I do feel that amount of pressure right now for WrestleMania this year, because it's like, well, I don't know what my future holds.
yeah, and you've watched people elevate, and you've watched new people take on top spots. Like you've watched Bianca Belair
Yep.
and this amazing ascension. You've watched Sasha and Bailey have probably had the best professional year of both of their careers. You know, Becky is obviously, whenever she comes back, she's like, you know, the most famous woman in the history of WWE. So it's not a given anymore that Charlotte's the best. It's back to whatever you're gonna have at WrestleMania. You're gonna have to prove it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I felt like when I came back, it was the first time in my career the fans were given an opportunity to miss me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, it went a different path.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, how do you recreate that being gone and coming back? And how do I'm not content with just being Charlotte Flair and what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not who I am. That's, who I will never be that way. So, and especially before I left for injury, I really felt like I was doing some of my best work in my entire career. Like if you go back, like I know the NXT storyline wasn't a focus on Raw, but I was doing some of my best promos and some of my best work I'd ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I had a blast at the triple threat with Io and Rhea. So I'm like, I want another impactful moment and grow as a performer. Like I love that I've made it here, but that's not good enough for me.
Is there somebody specific that you envision for WrestleMania? If you were given the option, I know it's not up to you, obviously, but like if they go, okay, who do you think Charlotte should potentially have that moment with at WrestleMania? What is that match for you this year?
I just don't know my direction. So I don't want to say the person and not, because I don't know who I'm going to face. But there is someone who I think is a major star, and we've had one match. So right.
I get it.
Yeah. I just don't want to put it out in the universe in discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's contingent on
I'll be grateful for whatever storyline goes into Mania.
Right. And a lot of it's contingent on that story anyway. That like it's not just the opponent, it's what's got people caring about this match so much.
Like there's someone's got to, there's got to be a story for people to care.
Right. Exactly. Charlotte, it's always a pleasure. I know you're a busy person today, so good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Great to see you.
You too.
Or talk to you.
Yeah.